Hi, I'm Jamie Carragher, and you are listening to Across the Park podcast.
Welcome to Across the Park podcast, the only place you can hear banter and debate from both sides of Stanley Park, whether it be blue or red. Sponsored by Their Clothing, Camper Kings UK, and affiliation with BetMate.
Hello, welcome to Across the Park Game On, our show where we press the button and go way back in history and talk about this week in history for red and blue. And we also get a little bit competitive. The winner can play Z Cars or You Never Walk Alone. We always say whoever plays it, we really hope you're in a mixed household, just to add to the fume. Sophia Mills and Andrew Price are the Evertonians this week. Gary Murray and Terry McGibbon are the Reds. A big thank you to our sponsors, as always, Their Clothing. I said on Monday, you will spend so much money looking at that great line of clothing that we're going to give you 20% off for doing so by typing in ATP20 at checkout, 20% off. And also Camper Kings UK, a great fleet of camper vans for all occasions, whether it be a family trip away, whether it be a cheeky boys weekend or even a cheeky girls weekend. Make sure that you quote Across the Park podcast for a free bottle of bubbly and free champagne as well on the boys from Across the Park podcast. Our affiliates over at BetMate, we're going to talk more on Monday's show because the Across the Park game isn't kicking in until next week. There's no FA Cup games on BetMate, so we are going to be talking a little bit more about BetMate on Monday. Make sure you tune in for that. Details how to win enough for possibly a couple of pizzas on the boys by only spending £3. Pricey, should we kick it off with you going 1 to 2 with the Reds? I'll have to tag out by being quizmaster. So, are you ready for this one?
Yeah, ready.
Okay.
What is it first?
It's true or false. So, any new listeners on the audio podcast or any new viewers on the YouTube channel, we always have a couple of games. One blue will tag out and be the host, leaving the blue to go 2 to 1 with the Reds, and then a red will tag out, leaving one red to go 2 to 1 with the Blues. And like I said, the winner, it's a little bit of fun. We hope that you play Z Cars or you play You Never Walk Alone. We're going to do true or false. First of all, I've got 3 questions each. So I'm going to ask the Reds 3 Everton questions, and then Pricey will have a chance to maybe tag in, and then we'll do vice versa. I'll ask Pricey some Liverpool questions. The Reds can tag in and see if they can get the correct answer. We'll see where we are at the end of that, and then we'll see who's winning for the second game later on in the show. Reds, are you ready?
Always.
Okay. Leighton Baines took 19 months to score his first goal for Everton in March 2009 away at Portsmouth. That's 3 months longer than it took Phil Neville to score his first Everton goal, which was 16 months. Is that true or false?
I reckon it's false, guys.
I think it's false. I don't reckon it took Baines that long. He was decent with a dead ball, wasn't he? He used to put free kicks in.
And I'm also thinking,
yeah.
Was it 2009? It was earlier than that, wasn't it, that he signed, I think. I think false. I don't know.
Yeah, I'd go false.
Okay, Price, do you want to maybe give your
I don't know the answer. I can't remember. I can remember Phil Neville. Phil Neville. Did he go ages without scoring? He used to shoot every time he got on the edge of the box. I remember he scored one, didn't he? In fact, I think he scored one early doors from the edge of the box. It might have been against Aston Villa. He scored one goal, I remember. And then we used to always shoot every time he got by the edge of the box. I'm going to say it took Phil Neville less, so whatever that is. Whether that's true or false, I'll say it took him less. I think he scored earlier.
So you're saying it's true that Leighton Baines took 3 more months longer than Phil Neville?
Sounds daft when you say it out loud, but that's what I think.
The Reds are going false. We're going to have a winner straight away. So 1-0 Everton. Pricey's absolutely right. So Phil Neville did take 16 months. He scored past Newcastle in December 2006. Leighton Baines took 19, scoring in March 2009.
I just remember Phil Neville scored an own goal against Liverpool.
What was that goal I'm talking about? He did score a goal from the edge of the box against someone.
Yeah, he scored. I know what you scored.
It was a decent goal.
Aston Villa at home, but it was like late on in
was it?
That season, I think, because that was like a big game to get into like Europe, wasn't it? But yeah, good memory there. Reds, second Everton question. Duncan Ferguson's loan deal from Rangers to Everton in September 1994 was made permanent on the 23rd of November 1994 by new manager Joe Royle, only 2 days after scoring in a 2-0 victory in a Merseyside derby. True or false?
It's just a stab in the dark for us, this. I'll go true. Just go through the derby in there. I'll go true.
Okay.
Yeah. Right. But I've got no sort of idea.
For any Reds who would agree with Phil and Gary, that this will switch later. The more detailed Liverpool questions will be given, and then you should switch. So,
I think it's true. You said true, didn't you? I think it's true. Loan deals were only short back then, weren't they? I'm sure he went made paying them straight away. So I think he scored that goal. Did you say the week of scoring the goal? I think it was. He got made permanent. Is that what you said?
Yeah. So 2 days after scoring,
I think that's true.
Signed permanently.
I think that's true.
That's all it takes to get a deal at Everton. A goal against us.
I'm not usually very good with comebacks to Terry, but you're incorrect. The correct answer is false. He was signed permanently, but it wasn't until December 1994. So we're still at 1-0 Everton with one Everton question left and 3 red ones to come. Back over to the Reds. Romelu Lukaku shocked Everton by rejecting a new contract on the eve of the final game of the 16-17 season after months of negotiations that made Everton publicly confident that he would commit his future to the club. True or false?
Yeah. False. It was earlier than that he left, wasn't it? What did you say, 2017?
26-17, so he rejected a new contract on the eve of the final game of the season after months of public negotiations where Everton were confident of keeping him.
Then he's been to Man U, he's been to Chelsea, he's been to Inter Milan, he's been to loads of clubs. That seems like too late, like a year. I reckon maybe false, guys.
Oh, I get you. False because of the year.
Yeah, I think so.
Go ahead. I'll go with that.
Earlier that he left on 20. That you know what I mean? It doesn't seem that long ago. That's like 5 years, and he's been to like 4 clubs or something. No, I think false.
Okay, Bracey.
I'll go with that.
I'll go false. I don't know the details. I'm leaving whether it was the last game before the last game of the season or not. I don't remember anything about it. So, but I similar logic to what Terry's saying. I'll say false.
Okay, Bracey's playing a nice bit of keep ball, 1-0 up, just matching the Reds' answers. I like it. You both right, it was false, but for different reasons. He did leave in summer 2017, but it wasn't on the eve of the final game. He rejected the deal. He rejected it back in March, but he publicly said he doesn't believe that the club could match his ambitions. Boy, was he right.
Doesn't it seem well longer ago that he left, though? And when you consider that he's gone through a few clubs since then, it's like...
He doesn't last long in any clubs, though, does he, Lukaku? I think we're the longest he's been in, aren't we?
That 17 window was chaos because he left and then we just brought in a fucking bucket loads of number 10s with no strikers.
Yeah.
When did Sherry take over?
It was around the time that like a year before, maybe.
Yeah, I think it was during the season when the full takeover happened.
Yeah. Okay. So we end the Everton bit with Everton 1-0 up, which can happen, but the Reds can very easily pull this one back. 3 Liverpool questions to Pricey first, and the Reds tag in. Okay, Pricey. Steven Gerrard famously got sent off in less than a minute of coming off the bench against Manchester United in March 2015 for a late tackle on Juan Mata. True or false?
Is 15 a bit too early? No, I'll say true. I'll say true.
Reds?
False.
No, it's false. It wasn't Juan Mata.
Player. It was the other. God, I can't remember his name. I hated him as well. He played for Man U.
Yeah, I did as well.
In the middle. What's his name? I can't remember his name. Herrera. Yeah.
Herrera, yeah.
The Reds, with a back pass there from Pricey, have nailed it. So it was Ander Herrera, not Juan Mata. So it's 1-1 already. The Reds are pulling it back. Pricey, Peter Crouch took until the 3rd of December to score his first Liverpool goal after his summer signing from Southampton. But he then scored a further 6 in December including a towering header in the Goodison Merseyside derby? True or false?
I go true.
Okay. Reds?
I think it's true. I think when he broke his duck, he scored 2 in the same game against Wigan, didn't he? So there's 2 in December straight away.
Yeah, wasn't one of them a bit snide as well, like a deflection and like
His very first one, he took a pot shot from miles out, took a mad deflection and went in. The keeper sort of pushed it in. It was debatable whether it was going down as an own goal.
Yeah, that's right.
But then he scored later on in the game.
And he scored a few. I remember it's like once he broke that, he sort of, it was a bit like the monkey was off his back, wasn't it? I'll go true.
Okay, so 2 trues. It's actually false. He did score 6 further goals in December, but his goal in the Merseyside derby was not a towering header. He rounded Nigel Marr. All in the detail. Right, last Liverpool question. Pricey to you first. True or false that Luis Suarez's last goal for Liverpool was in May 2014 in the 3-3 draw against Crystal Palace?
Palace was towards the end of the season. I go false.
Okay. Reds?
I can't remember.
Tough one, that. Obviously didn't score against Chelsea. Trying to think what the games like. What was the order of the games? Now,
Palace was after Chelsea.
Yeah, Palace was after Chelsea, and then
What's read the question out again?
Luis Suarez's last goal for Liverpool was in May 2014 in a 3-3 draw against Crystal Palace.
I thought you said 2015 then.
What was our last game, Gaz? Who did we finish against? Can't even remember now.
No, I can't.
But it was like, I'm not going to say actually. Did I say false? Didn't I?
I think.
I can't remember.
Yeah, I said false. I said false. Well, I'm saying false anyway.
What do you reckon, Gar?
I reckon we just don't lose and say false. Go to the tie-break question he's got.
Go ahead then.
It was actually true. That was his last goal. That was the second to last game of the season. He's played Newcastle at home. He didn't score. Got a random tiebreaker here. I thought this would work. It's not going to, because if you go separate answers, we'll be here all night. So it's on you to maybe play the game a little bit and maybe first one in.
Go on.
Steven Gerrard, true or false, has one more England cap than David Beckham, 115 to 114.
True.
We're here all night. It's false, but anyone at home who's getting all these right is going to be screaming.
Okay, let's
just do a close. Have you got like closest to? So Steven Gerrard, how many caps has he got closest to?
I didn't think we'd have like 8 falses going into like a tiebreaker.
Have you got no more questions?
Got no more questions. We'll have to just call that.
We've got the who am I's later.
Call it a draw.
We'll try and do better on the who am I's, but that one it just doesn't go well at all. The correct answer for anyone who wants to know is it was 115 to 114, but the other way around. Beckham has one more than Steven Gerrard. We're going to press the button. I think the Reds are going to press it first. We are going to go back in a time machine, way back in history. Gary, where are we? What year?
2011.
Okay.
I think we've done in the past when Luis Suarez signed in the same window, but this one we're focusing on Andy Carroll. We signed him for a record-breaking 35 million from Newcastle. And what I think is probably a panic buy after Fernando Torres left.
You know, thinking back to it now, I remember what it felt like when I was living in London. I was working down in London, and I remember one of the lads who I work with, and he was like, "What have you just done? What have you just done?" And I was looking at it, just going, "I can't believe we've just signed that for 35 million quid."
Yeah, but Liverpool, every Liverpool fan I know, whoever you sign, no one ever says that they're gutted. They always say class signing, unknown from Argentina class. So so we was honestly gutted about Carroll.
I remember
Was it the price, or was it the fact that he was, not what he wanted?
I think it was a bit of the fact that Torres had been boss, and he obviously his former fell off a cliff. We were selling Torres to Chelsea, which felt like a bit of a gut wrencher because obviously at that time, us and Chelsea, there was like a real animosity there. So he's going to Chelsea, which was horrible, and then we got 50 million quid in, and then we've just lashed 35 million quid of it to Newcastle for Andy Carroll, who at the time was injured anyway. I remember he had a thigh injury, didn't he, or whatever, like a torn thigh, so he couldn't even play. And I think he'd scored something like 9 goals and had half a season in the Prem. It's like, how are you replacing Torres with Andy Carroll? And although
we didn't know what Suarez was like at the time.
Well, yeah, we'd signed him from like Ajax or whatever, and there was, people said he was a boss player, but he was only 20 odd million. So at the time, Carroll was seen as like the marquee signing. It was like, you know what I mean? He's just a big lump. It was like, what are we doing, spending 30
He's a
million?
big injured lump.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what he did do. Tell you what he did do. Gave us a great day at Wembley, didn't he?
Yeah. Listen, he had his moments, and I think when you look at it, if you hadn't paid that sort of money, if you'd have paid 10, 15 million or 20, even 20, you probably have thought, fair enough. He's a young lad. He's big. He can, put his head on things. He puts himself about. He's aggressive and that. But when he was, 35 million at the time was a big fee, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Torres for 50 million was a massive fee, and to just lose 35 million of it on Carroll was like, what's happening here?
Yeah, it seemed like way like we'd been rinsed. Yeah. But I think it was because we knew we was, well, we didn't know we were selling Torres, because that come out of the blue. It was like we need someone to replace him here. We need a focal point. We need our main striker. We didn't know Suarez was going to be that, so it was like, who can we get in here? And then somehow someone signed off on Andy Carroll. Yeah,
to be fair. You know what's funny? The summer before that, or it wasn't that January, it was the summer before, and I worked at Millsy, not far from each other in the same building and stuff. And I done like a fake article saying Everton had signed Andy Carroll for 10 million. This is before Liverpool had signed him. And sent it to Millsy and was like, get onto this, the Daily Mail are reporting that we were signing Andy Carroll, and he was fuming, and that was only 10 million. He was going, we're not signing Carroll for 10 million, not a chance. And then in January he was going to sign him for 35 million. Proper funny.
That's what I mean. 35 mil at the time, which was batty money, and I'm pretty sure weren't Newcastle in the Championship the season before we signed him, so he'd literally only had half a season in the Prem.
Yeah, he went down and came back up, yeah. Our old boss isn't watching us, but how busy we are.
Oh, it was class because your face, you come over like fuming. I done it like I copied and pasted the Daily Mail article and put Andy Carroll in and all that. Was hilarious.
Was he fuming more or less when Andy Carroll scored the winner against them in the FA Cup semi-final?
It was the start of me starting to think, like, never rip these because it'll always come back on us. That kind of that club compared to our club, it'll always come back. That's why I praise Keita still. I don't have this Keita's crap because I'm 25 yards at the park ends.
Yeah, well, yeah. So I mean, looking back on it, it was one of them that it was never for me. It was never signing that I was like, this is game changing for Liverpool. It was always like,
how did he fit in? 4-4-2 was it, or lone striker was it?
I don't know. It was bizarre. It was just like a bizarre signing. Just didn't. It never. There was no part of it that you looked at and thought.
He was just never a Liverpool player, was he?
No. And all right. I mean, even another bad one. We'd signed like Downing and that. So were we thinking we're going to have wingers who were going to throw crosses in and we want someone? Do you know what I mean? So it's like maybe that was some sort of bizarre idea that we were going to go old school 4-4-2 under Dalglish and throw crosses in for a big lump in the box, but. Nah,
tell you what, for a man who's meant to be like good with his head and that though, the FA Cup final against Chelsea, one landed on his head, put it right on Peter Cech's hands, but he was already peeling off to celebrate, and he should have. If he'd just followed it in and toe poked it in, we'd have been to extra time and probably went on to win that.
Yeah.
Was it Rodgers who came in just like, it's not happening for you, you can go, like straight away, wasn't it? Rodgers just like bombed him.
Well, the thing is, it wasn't happening for him. He was always injured. We didn't play a lot of games for Liverpool.
Dalglish was like trusting him when he was fit. But if I remember right, I'm sure Rodgers was just like, you can go, like almost straight away.
Yeah, well, he fell out with Rodgers because I think he came out after he left, didn't he, and said, Rodgers, he sat down with him, and Rodgers basically said, you're in me plans, like I want you as part of my team. and then basically bombed him and was trying to sell him behind his back. And then Carroll basically called him out and went, I think he calls him a snake or so. Basically said, like, you know, he tells you one thing to your face and then does something else behind your back. And then that was it. You know, he knew he wanted them out. And I think, you know, maybe some Reds won't agree with me on this, but I think Rodgers, when he came in, it was a bit of he was a young manager, not really a lot of sort of experience. He wanted the big personalities out, I think. You know, and if you look at the way like Carragher, Gerrard, Carroll, you know, Shelvey, all the players who like were, you know, you think were the ones who probably give him a bit of lip.
Bit of a knack.
Yeah, they were the ones that he sort of was quick to sort of get shut off. What?
Pepe Reina as well, wasn't he? Bombed.
Yeah, but that was a weird one, wasn't it? Where Reina like sort of said he wanted to go, and then the deal never materialised, and then he basically said he wanted to stay, and I think Rodgers had sort of said, you made your bed, see you later. Which on that one you can sort of maybe understand a little bit, you know what I mean? But anyway, Andy Carroll, 35 million.
That was the Red week in history. Like we always say, if any Reds or even Blues have to be in price, you do our one. If you've got any ideas or any games or memories coming up that are important to you, let us know on the Twitter at Across the Park PC or the Instagram at Across the Park PC, and we'll certainly try and cover it. Pricey, I think it's fair to say that the Reds have just gone through some players who probably weren't fan favourites, weren't very good. It brings us on to what was seemingly the last roll of the dice for Roberto Martinez. He sold Stephen Naismith to raise some funds in January 2016, and he spent £13 million on the Senegalese prince Oumar Niasse, who done absolutely nothing until possibly a year and a half later when we were forced into playing him. If I remember, it's hard to remember how I felt at the time because he come from the Russian league, and all the reports were like he scores goals and he's quite a dangerous player. So you're looking at it and you're going, okay, let's give it a whirl. But I remember thinking very, very early, what have we signed here? What are your memories going back to when you first lashed eyes on Oumar Niasse in the Everton?
I think it was Bournemouth away, and he came on.
Yeah,
and he was awful. He couldn't even trap a ball, and we were all looking at each other going, Jesus Christ, what the hell have we bought here? And then it just didn't get any better from there. There was that one game when I'll tell you what, though, he scored a few, actually. Give him his due. He scored a few goals, as it went on. But, it was that game where, I mean, about him, there was always in the papers, or it was always being reported, he works hard in training, and he's dead professional, and he turns up, and I think that sort of got fans, not like on his side, but sort of got them willing him on, like a cult hero type of figure. And then he came on for that game, Koeman, come on and scored 2 in that game. And it was like, it was just funny, wasn't it? It was like, everyone was just laughing about it, going, no way, Niasse has come on, he scored 2, he saved Koeman's job, because Koeman was in real danger at that point. I think he'll go down as a bit of a cult hero, I think. Not a good player, no one can say he's a good player, but he scored a few goals, and as I say, because it was reported that he was always a decent fella, I think everyone sort of took to him a little bit.
He scored important goals under like Koeman and Unsworth and Allardyce, and that was a season where we had no strikers. But if you remember, the fans were almost on Martinez's back around the time we brought him in, where it was really starting to turn. And then he was like Martinez's man, wasn't he? And the fans were just like, you can't give him money, because if Machedi came in around March, and I think I'm talking for me, not everybody, obviously. I remember thinking to myself, you can't now give this man the kitty that's going to be available to him, because he'll go and do what Ronald Koeman ended up doing with it, which is absolutely not. But that to me at the time was like, you can't, if he's bringing that level of player in, you can't strap a ball. I remember I had like a bit of a work stag do at the end of the 15-16 season. And it was the game that Leicester lifted the trophy. If you remember, they won the league and they played Everton.
Yeah.
I was watching it in town, and someone put Niasse through, like one-on-one. And Cassius Michael came out and headed it away from him. It was like a kid, like playing your kids in the garden. Where you're trying to be your bird's got the phone out, you've had a beer, you're trying to impress. That's so bad, but then you're right what you're saying. So he comes back in, he spends a season away, so half the season where the story goes, he had no locker. We had Luke Garbett on the show when Luke Garbett left on the audio podcast, which is still available on the website. And he said that him and Nias were basically told, along with Brendan Galloway, by Ronald Koeman, if you want to train, then you're going to have to just find somewhere to change because you're literally not part of it. And then a year later, we lose Lukaku. Nobody else wants Nias. We don't sign. I think it was Olivier Giroud. Sandro was like, when we get to that week in history, we have to bring Nias in. And was it Bournemouth at home? And like we were 1-0 down, and Nias comes on and saves Koeman's job.
Yeah, scored 2. That was it. And he's running around mad. I remember the celebration as well, proper going mad about it as well because he'd been brought in. And Koeman just looked daft, didn't he? I think even the fact that Nias scored 2 goals after Koeman had thrown him out made you want Koeman to be sacked even more, didn't it? I mean, he didn't save him from the fans. The fans were like, "What a bellend! Like, get rid of him." But I remember after his first game, like I said, he couldn't trap a ball, couldn't pass it, and I'm sure Martinez said he had a sore hand or something. And Martinez was giving excuses, saying, "Oh he's hurt his hand, so he couldn't play." And it's like, Jesus Christ.
Well, those pictures of him in a cast, and I was like, "Where's that come from?" Why a cast?
Limping because he's hurt his wrist and that.
Proper Millsy behaviour, that.
It was a good moment. Do you remember we sent him on loan to Hull and he scored against Liverpool?
Scored against Liverpool, yeah.
I was waiting for that to come up.
One of our mates, I'll never forget. One of our mates, Mickey, he went to Hull away, and I remember he came back and he was saying to me in the WhatsApp, he was like, when the ass went clean through, the whole away end was like, please no. Please no. And it got round, we were at the match, I think might have been Bournemouth again. We were beating Bournemouth like 6-3 or 5-3 or something. And someone shouted in the park end, Liverpool are 2-0 down. Hey, Nias. No one could believe. It's probably the best moment he gave us. But for anybody who's listening to This Week in History, we're sorry for bringing you like 2 strikers which have not been prolific.
No, yeah. Proper miserable, this one.
So, it is what it is. We're getting to that end of the transfer window. This Week in History. God knows what we're going to do next month. I was saying to Gary off air, it's going to be like that time Schneiderlin put a tackle in against Norwich. It's not this week. It's a moment in itself, I imagine. But like I said, if anyone's got any ideas for this, please send us them because we're getting now to the Andy Carrolls and the Umania. Gary, are you ready to jump in? And it's now 2 Blues versus 1 Reds, I believe.
It is. So we'll start with the leaders, then we'll go with, oh my God, I just nearly read the player's name out then. Oh, well, yeah, we'll start with the Blues. So, okay. For anyone who doesn't know what the game is, I've got 5 clues to someone to do with Everton. And I'll just read them out one by one. And if they get it, if they think they know the answer, put their hands up. Maybe not shout it out, just in case the listeners are playing along and haven't got the answer yet. Just let us know that you think you know it. Okay, so clue number 1. This player's career began at FC 20 in 94-95.
Okay.
I've got
It'd be impressive if you got that.
Vague idea where this is going, but
okay. He joined Everton in 2006.
So January 06 or summer 06. No.
Next one.
So are we saying he's probably Dutch? Mills?
I don't think we signed a Dutch player in 2006 though. I was thinking of the windows there. I don't think we did, but unless it's a really obscure, like played 4 times or something.
Okay. The player's honours, not necessarily at Everton, obviously, include the FA Cup, the League Cup, the Charity Shield, the UEFA Cup, and the Super Cup.
2006.
Oh, I could have a guess, I could have a guess at that.
I'm happy to
Portuguese fella. Is he Portuguese, Gary?
I don't think he was 06
No.
though,
Wasn't he?
I know where you're going with that, but I think he was...
That is incorrect anyway.
Was he later than that? Earlier?
Who was you thinking?
Valente?
No. Next one. He only played 2 games for Everton.
It's going to be I'll take a stab at this one. Is it Anderson da Silva?
No. Okay, and final clue, but I'm going to put 2 in this. He won each of his trophies that are read out at rivals Liverpool.
Oh, Sands of Westerveld.
Yeah.
Nightmare.
I knew that one would give it away.
I forgot.
He signed in 2006, but it was only on loan, and it was in February.
Yeah, because I think we had massive injuries. I think Richard Lightfoot fell out of a loft or something. Then you remember Ian Turner got sent off at Blackburn, and Ruddy was like about 15 or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think he was only at this for a month.
Was long enough.
He was getting booed in the warm-ups and everything.
Right, okay. So you did get that. You got that on the 5th clue.
Okay.
So we go over to the Liverpool. Terry, this player started his career at Charlton in 1997.
Okay.
He made 15 appearances for Liverpool. His closest honours were runner-up in the FA Cup and runner-up in the UEFA Cup. Fourth clue. Liverpool signed him from Fulham in 2000.
I know it. I knew it on the last one. Am I allowed to say?
No, maybe leave it till the end.
I knew it on the 3rd one.
Okay.
And what's
Last clue, Terry.
What was the clue then? The 4th one.
Signed him from Fulham in 2010.
I know.
You know, Millsy.
You can tell I know it by laughing.
Final clue. He scored against Liverpool in the FA Cup final for West Ham in 2006.
Wasn't fucking. Trying to think who scored that goal. 2006. Wasn't Konchesky, was it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Paul Konchesky.
How you think of Pricey Young?
Yeah. Well, just signed from Charlton, done it, and then runners up as well.
Fulham and he runners up.
That even reminds any Reds that he actually played for Liverpool.
Well, I know, but if you do blatantly obvious big players, then you're lucky. I was going to do Christian Poulsen.
Just give next week's away.
This is a miserable
I'm never doing
it. 35 million flops. Paul Konchesky. You man the ass.
We'll try.
For the Blues.
We'll try and do better next week. So we just delete this show from the archives. No, like I said there, this week in history and the games you always do, it's just meant to be fun. Our main show is always out on a Monday. So myself and Judge, you were on last week. I know Pricey's on next week to review the FA Cup games, possibly with me. I'm not too sure. I'm looking ahead to Newcastle, and the Reds have got a big FA Cup game as well on Sunday against Crystal Palace. Is Cardiff City? I can't get
Cardiff.
Cardiff. They're all the same to me, and then you play
Leicester. He asked us through you off.
Yeah, score past none of them. Neither to Carroll. But yeah, what I'm trying to say is we're back on Monday for a much, much better show from myself, Ian Mills, Andrew Price, from Gary Murray and Terry McGibbon. Thanks for sticking with us for Game On. It's only meant to be a bit of fun. See you on Monday.